Hi, I'm Elijah, and I'm here with Bright Agritech here at the Santa Rosa Heirloom Expo 2015. Today I'm here with Libby O'Connell, the Senior Vice President, Social Responsibility Director, and Senior Historian for the History Channel and A&E Networks, as well as the author of The American Plate, A Culinary History in 100 Bites. Would you tell me a little bit more about this book?
Well, I'm here because it just came out in paperback, so I'm really excited about that. This tells the story of American history through the lens of food.
Okay.
It's not a cookbook, but there are about 25 recipes in there.
Wonderful.
And everything from how to roast beaver tail to some recipes that were used in the colonial period up to today. So it's kind of fun for that. But it's not a cookbook. It really is a history book.
For us here at Bright Agritech, our vision of the future sort of brings the power back to the local farmer and provides easier access to healthier and more fresh foods. Do you think that the trends that we're seeing in the support local farming and know your farmer is it powerful enough to bring the local food scene back to communities, not just like Santa Rosa here, where we've seen a huge movement towards local foods, but to places like Chicago and New York City?
Well, you've got a big advantage in Santa Rosa because your growing season is really long. But I'm from the Northeast where our growing season is really limited. And I'm seeing the return of the strength of local farming and know your farmer and the willingness for people to pay a little bit extra, knowing that the food they eat is from their region, that they know the field it's coming from, they know what's going in to feed that crop before it feeds you.
Yeah.
And that's something that people really are concerned about. I spend a lot of time in Virginia. I work at Monticello a lot, Thomas Jefferson's home, and he had this revolutionary garden, and I know that they do a lot about heritage foods in Virginia as well. It's helping local farmers stay alive.
Yeah.
This is the first piece of good news I think that small farmers have had for a long time. And people love it. They say, I bought this at the farmer's market. And not only does it taste good, but you're proud to be supporting your local farmer.
Yeah.
And I know that community groups also work with their local farmers because when there's extra in the crop, food pantries really benefit. And you don't get that from great big mass farms that are producing products that just get thrown out if they can't get shipped. I don't mean that there isn't a role for all sorts of people in this world, but in terms of where I want my food to come from, the closer the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this year at the U.S. Pavilion in Milan for the World's Fair, we featured a vertical farm that was about a quarter of acre of growing space, and it's all using the Bright Agritech ZipGrow technology. We know that you had an opportunity to visit the pavilion.
I did.
And so I would just like to know your thoughts on the wall, and do you feel that this could add into bringing food back to the community?
Elijah, I wish you'd been with me because you'd be so blown away by your own product. It was really neat. I thought actually about the whole USA Pavilion that everybody in America should get a chance to go because you'd be so proud of what we had on display and the message that we were talking about feeding the world. But those walls, I didn't know they were yours until you guys called me the other day. But I just think, first of all, the food was so fresh. It was right there. They were growing different types of lettuces, herbs, some little chilies, and lavender, and the whole thing smelled fabulous, which it was a really hot day, and I thought this is really a heaven-sent thing to have something that smells so fresh and good right there on the wall. But also, my eyes were really open to how productive this type of vertical farming could be. And I'm really tempted to get one for myself.
So I guess my final question is, as someone who studied our American agricultural past so extensively, where do you see the future of food going, and what does it look like?
Well, I think there are two things. One is that you will always have the really large-scale agriculture, agribiz, right? That's just going to go on, and sometimes there are products that works for very well. But I think for vegetables and for meat sources and fruits. When people have choices, these are the choices they want to make. They want to buy locally, or they want to buy from farmers who are supporting their ecosystem. So if it can't grow in New York because it's the middle of January, maybe I can have it from someplace farther south.
Right.
But you know that you're working with smaller farmers that are really involved in restoring the quality of the soil as they work and grow things for your table.
Thank you for coming on today.
That was so much
Thank you
fun.
for talking with us.
I'm happy to do it. I love your product. I don't ever go around endorsing products. But I thought I was so impressed by what I saw at the USA Pavilion in Milan.
Awesome. That's fantastic.